All right, guys, welcome Pedro Doordash Santiago. It's good to see you, man.
What's up, Blake? How are you, brother?
I'm doing great. How are you, man?
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me on, man. I feel very honored and humbled, and I appreciate you want to talk a little bit of gig work with me. So it's
Oh
all good.
yeah, for sure,
I'm
man.
ready, man. I'm
I
ready. Yeah,
appreciate you coming on. Honestly,
yeah,
it's a pleasure. So to start off, I always just like to ask the guests about their background, how they got started with DoorDash, if they did any work before DoorDash, and just kind of
hmm
give us your story.
sure, yeah. So for like almost 20 years, man, I worked in like a little bit of retail when I was younger, and then got into restaurants. Worked restaurants for 17 years, and
Wow.
everything from waiting tables to the last like 12, I was managing and directing places. But
Okay.
I pretty much got into gig work last January 2020, right before the pandemic.
Mhm.
I had some things I wanted to kind of pay for without dipping into savings or worrying about, having to pay for this particular trip I wanted my kid to go on. So I was like, I used to, before I had a car years ago, I would take Ubers around. I was like, I could do Uber. I could.
Yeah.
So I started my gig life doing Uber. And then I got into like the DoorDash. I signed up for Postmates and did all
Okay.
three for a little while I had my full-time like career.
Okay.
So that's how I got into the gig work. So I've been doing it for about a year and a half.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so what kind of like managing and stuff did you do in the restaurant business? Like any specific restaurants? The only reason I ask is because I
Yeah.
was I was the general manager of a Taco Bell and a KFC, so I know how
Sure.
it
Sure.
goes.
Mm. I never worked fast food, but my first restaurant job, I served tables at an Applebee's, a brand new Applebee's in St. Louis. They opened one up at the mall. I needed a
Okay.
job at the time. This is a long time ago. It's like, yeah, I think I can wait tables. So I did that for about a year. Then I became a manager. Then I was a GM at an
Okay.
Applebee's, several of them in St. Louis. I did that.
Uh,
I was at Applebee's for about 11 years.
wow.
And then I went to work for a casino. I did some restaurant consulting on my own. Then I went and worked for a casino, a big, huge casino in St. Louis, and I managed all of the food and beverage outlets within that casino. So there was basically 7 places people could
Oh,
eat
wow.
or drink, plus some bars. So I managed that. That was my last job I had. So
Oh, nice. So,
um, yeah,
oh,
I'm
go
a food
ahead.
guy. I'm a food guy at heart. It's
Uh,
not easy work, but I really loved it. So I can appreciate when you say, I think you said Taco Bell and KFC.
yeah. Uh-huh.
So did you work for that's like the Yum brand, right?
Yeah, so we were actually it's called Harmon's. I don't know if you've heard of it, but they're over a lot of different restaurants in like the West Coast area. So all
Okay,
of Utah, Arizona, California, like all throughout there. And they're actually a franchise of all these
got it.
restaurants. So it wasn't directly
Yeah,
under Yum, but it was over a bigger franchise called Harmon's. And so, yeah, I worked my
yeah.
way up through that since the time I was 16. It was pretty much my first job, worked my way up. And then when I was 19, got my own store, was the general manager, ran everything. And then I
Wow. At
just,
19, that's impressive, man.
yeah, it was rough, honestly. Like they gave me a
Yeah.
brand new store and it was like the workers were just terrible. There were all these like spoiled rich kids and they just like
Mm,
never showed up to work. And there was this one day
mm,
that I just could not take it anymore. And so I just walked out, didn't even really clean the restaurant. Because I had hired my friend and he was just doing it
mhm.
part-time with me. He'd close with me at nights. And so we closed early and I just was like, I'm done. I texted my boss and I'm like, I'm
Oh,
sorry to
wow.
do this to you. Like I've been with the company for a while now. And like,
Mhm.
I'm sorry to do this to you, man, but like I cannot take it anymore. I can't even put in my 2 weeks. Like I'm just done. So
What was your breaking point? Because I know in restaurants, it can get crazy and it can be
yeah.
overwhelming, and especially places like you work, there's a lot to do. So what did you have? You obviously had a moment. What was
Yeah.
it that kind of triggered that for you?
So it was, I mean, there was a lot of stuff that led up to it, obviously. So when I was the manager at the Taco Bell, it was like a co-manager. It was me and this guy, Ben, and we were both working like 55 hours and I asked for a raise because I was only making $12 an hour. It was terrible.
Oh,
And so
wow.
I asked for a
Yeah.
raise and they were like, well, we'll just give you this brand new store and then we can give you the raise. You can make more money over there. But I was still only making
Mm,
$15 an hour when they gave me my own store. But I'd get like profit bonuses and
wow.
stuff depending on how good the store did, you
Yeah.
know? But like,
Yeah. Yeah.
so I was already working a crap ton over at Taco Bell. Then I got to this KFC and I just hated everyone that worked there. Like everyone that was hired there was just terrible because like I didn't do the hiring.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a brand new store, but there had been a manager there for like a couple weeks and she decided to step down to just be a regular worker.
Mm-hmm.
And so then they brought me on and everything. And pretty much what led up to it is just like putting in 60-hour weeks every single week without getting any help.
It's hard, man.
Yeah.
It's hard. Yeah.
Like it was just getting to the point where I was like, this cannot be it for me. Like I was going to move up and I wanted to do like the area consulting. Like I'm pretty sure that's kind of what you were alluding to that you did.
Yeah.
They make pretty good money. And I was like, I just got to like grind this out for a couple more years. But I was just like, man, I don't think I can do this every day for if it takes me like 5 more years. Like I cannot do this. I can't.
It wears on you, man. It can wear on you.
Yeah.
Really
And so
physically and mentally.
Oh yeah, for sure. And so basically
it can be tough.
It was just like what happened was it was just like over a week span of just like people not showing up to their shifts and like us being understaffed every single night and like me being there till like 2-3 in the morning and we'd close at like 11, but I'd be like closing by myself because
cleaning up and stock.
Yeah, exactly. Like counting the inventory, all that stuff. And so there's one night and like, I think like 2 or 3 people didn't show up. And I was just like, man, I cannot let other people run my job satisfaction. Like I want to be my own boss. I want to do my own thing. I've had enough of this. Like it's just, it's getting ridiculous how much other people control my happiness because like when everyone showed up and everything went smooth, we were making good money, the drive-through times were good and everything. It was like a pretty fun job, you know, the energy was good, but then like people just would like not show up and then it just ruins your whole night, your whole week, your numbers are all screwed up and it's just like I was done. I was done. And so then I've
been there, man. I know what you mean. Yeah.
And so then I wanted to go into real estate. I don't know if you watched my first episode of the podcast, but I wanted to go into real estate. But then that was like, I had a lot of letdown in that. And I was just like, it was again, like other people were running my job satisfaction. I even had like family members turn me down to be their real estate agent. And I was like, man, this just sucks. Like I got to do something that's just me. Like I can rely on just myself. So I'd already been doing DoorDash. Then I started doing it full time, started my YouTube channel, and here we are.
Cool.
I'm loving life.
That's cool, man. Yeah. No, I think that's neat that you recognize that. So I know you're pretty young, but I know you recognize that at a younger age, so you didn't waste time and you didn't wear yourself down too much. You know what I mean? So you recognize that. Yeah. And I wish I would have recognized it years ago. I'm starting off kind of betting on myself kind of late, but better late than never. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, for sure. For sure.
Kudos to you for kind of recognizing it and doing something about it, you know?
Well, I appreciate that. So how old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
Yes. So I'm 39. I'll be 40 this year.
Okay.
So I'm getting up there.
That's
yeah.
Hey, better late than never, like you said, though. Right?
Better late than never, man. You got to. You got to. How old are you?
I'm 21. I just turned 21
a
couple months ago.
I figured you were super young.
Yeah, I'm pretty young. So what made you get started? Like, what made you think to start a YouTube channel? Because you've only been on YouTube for not that long. I remember when you were at like 500 subs or something like that.
Yeah, I started. I guess it's been about 15 weeks, maybe 16 weeks, so about 4 months ago. Yeah, that's when I started. So if you look at my About page, it'll say 2013. That's only because I did one video when that ice bucket challenge was a big thing. I put like a video up, but like nobody saw it because it wasn't even public and I didn't know how, So I had one video.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Like 8 years ago, right? But I've only had really an account making content for about 15 or 16 weeks. But I basically started because last year when I was doing the Rideshare, Blake, I'll tell you, man, like I did it. So I was basically working 10-hour days or so, right, at the casino. And I'd get off work at 9, 10, 11 o'clock at night. And I would pick up ride shares. And I would work till 1, 2, 3 in the morning. And on my days off, I would pick up people. And I'll tell you what, I wish I had a channel then. Because the amount of things that like I've seen and been through and customers I've picked up, good and bad, was mind-boggling. And the situations I put myself in and things that would have been recordable would have been fantastic content. Right?
Yeah, for sure.
And, you know, I would talk to friends and family about it. Like, man, I wish I had a camera. That would be, you know, and when I finally stopped doing that and pandemic happened, and I was, you know, just doing, you know, casino work.
Yeah.
I left that in January of this year to kind of, you know, bet on myself and do something for me.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, you know what? I want to, you know, I learned a lot from YouTube. I don't watch TV, man.
Yeah.
I watch
same.
YouTube and I watch maybe movies.
Yeah.
So I would learn from other people on YouTube on how to do certain things, right?
Yeah.
I just kind of went down a rabbit hole one night. I was like, wow, this is pretty interesting. And I would see people recording in their car. And, you know, I used to watch like the old videos of like the rideshare videos and like you see the crazy customers. And I thought, you know what? Like if I put a camera in my car, like maybe some people would watch. Plus, maybe I can teach new people that, you know, how to do things, right?
Yeah.
So I started it, you know, my girlfriend's like, you should do it. You should do it. You should do it. I think you would, you know, get some traction. And I was like, I don't know. I remember doing my first video and I would tell people I got a channel, you know. I remember waking up the next day and I had like 7 subscribers, right? And I was like, oh my God, I got 7 subs. And like the next video, I was like thanking for the 6 people that subscribed. I was one, and then my girlfriend was one. And I'm thinking, oh, this is cool, you know. And I just started making videos, and you know, I like to ramble sometimes, and I can be kind of opinionated, but then I thought, you know what, like I want to help people.
Yeah.
And I want to chronicleize my journey to get to my small business. And like I thought, why not?
Yeah.
And I started watching, you know, I would watch all the people that we know. I would watch them and get into their lives and ask questions and just kind of learn a little bit. And I would step back and see what was good and what was bad.
Yep.
And then I thought, hey, I'm just going to be myself. I'm going to try to be positive and I'm going to teach people. Yep. And I do a video every day. And I was like, I'm going to commit to doing a video every day for like a year. Yeah. Okay. And that's just kind of where we're at. And, you know, with the help of a lot of people, I think the channel's kind of grown a little bit. I think I've surprised some people, like, who's the new guy on the block, you know? Yeah, like, who's this new guy and why, you know? And that's cool, I think, because this community is really neat, man. Like, it's very supportive. Mm-hmm. You know, I think we all have, like, the trolls every once in a while. But, like, honestly, bro, like, 99% of what I see is actually pretty positive for the most part. Yeah. So I'm just, you know, I feel really humbled to be part of this community and helping people. And I just started it just like I literally have like, I don't even have a laptop or a computer, man. I literally, when I was doing it at first, I had one phone and trying to do it. And then I bought another phone and I record with the good phone and I installed the Dash app on a second phone I bought. Yeah. And that's it. And, you know, so at some point, you know, I might get laptop or something, or a computer or a microphone or a camera, but at the end of the day I just literally do it with my phone. And then at the end of every night I put the clips together and it takes about 30 minutes and then I upload it the next morning at about 11 and that's it.
Wow. So you just put everything together on your phone. Do you just like use iMovie or something?
I use iMovie and that's it. Yeah. So it's very simple and
that's crazy.
I spend 30 minutes a day. At the end of every day, it's 30 minutes. It's literally I'm in my bed and I do it. It's the last thing I do every day.
That is wild. I'm shook. I'm honestly shook at how fast your channel grew. Because I remember like you were a little below me in the subs. You were like at, I can't remember, 500 or 600. Maybe I was at like 800 or 900 or something. And then like you just like shot past me because now you're at like what, 3,500 or something like that?
36 and some change, I think.
36? Yeah. And like I'm at like about 28 now. Yeah. And I'm like, man, he is just like not exploding, but like you're gaining some momentum.
For this niche kind of market we're in, I think so. But because you were at 1,000 before I was, you know, I remember seeing you get to 1,000. I knew what 1,000 meant. I was like, oh, that's great. And my really goal was to just get to 1,000. Yep. Because I thought if I got to 1,000, I could help maybe 100 people a day. Right. Yeah. And then once I got there, I was like really content. And then from there, I think the algorithm just worked in a way. And, you know, Doordash Dad gave me some shout outs and UDM. And then Pete from Pay to Drive wanted to do some stuff with me. And then Chad, the Gig Economist, wanted me to be on a podcast. He interviewed me maybe I don't know, 5 or 6 weeks ago, and then this Facebook group reached out to me, and they put my stuff up there about 3 or 4 weeks ago. So I think it's kind of like just kind of the momentum is just kind of going a little bit in that way, and I think what people like is the positivity.
Yeah, for sure.
I think that's, you know what I'm saying? And the thing about betting on yourself, and I hadn't seen a lot of other channels do that.
Yeah.
So I think that's what kind of, not that it separates it, but I think it's just different because everybody else does things really well. Like the editing, like you and Eli and Nugs, like have fantastic videos, and the editing's on point and the quality's there, and I can't do that. So I don't even try. It's not my thing. Right.
Exactly.
So I just think, people like different kinds of things, and I think that's why it's been good so far.
Yeah,
but
I totally agree. Cause like you brought in like a different form, because I've obviously watched your videos, some of them, a lot of them. And like what you do is it's long form content. Like yours are like 20-minute videos, right? And like
at minimum, they're between 20 and 30 minutes.
Yeah. Like, and you break down like every order you're getting. And I think that's what people like too, is like how you're just showing, like, you're just so authentic. You just have your camera and you just show like, I accepted this order for this reason. Like, and you just go through your day pretty much. I think that's what people really like seeing. And you found that like kind of long form content of this niche, and people seem to really like it. So props to you, man. I see.
Thanks. I just trying to be myself. And I think I try to make people like, I want it to be learning and like positive and motivational, but also like make people feel like they're sitting next to me and we're kind of breaking orders down together, laughing at the things that are crazy, but then also like, oh, this is great. And like, this is a great order. Yeah. And I just tried to do it like that. And I thought about, I see a lot of other videos, and I've even read things that, people's attention spans are, 10 to 12 minutes, right? That's like the comfort zone. And my average viewership is like 13 or 14 minutes, which is fine. But I thought, you know what? I don't really have the editing acumen and the skill to compact it down. It's like, it's going to be what it is. And right now they're between 25 to 30 minutes. Yeah. And I think that's, it's kind of like a TV show,
exactly. That's exactly how I thought of it.
If you don't want to watch it all, that's fine. Like it's, if you want to watch it all, then maybe you will. But I think, that's just, I tried not to be, I tried not to do a certain thing. It just became what it was. Cause the first few videos I had were kind of short, and I was like, you know what? I just need to like record a lot, and I want to show everybody everything and be transparent. And like, I'll show you the good, the bad, the ugly. And whatever the day comes, that's what I get. Because I record every day. So like, if it's going to be boring one day because nothing happened, that's what it is.
Exactly.
If I'm going to get, but if it's not, then it's maybe something crazy happens, and that's good because maybe more people watch. But at the end of the day, like, it's going to be what it is. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And I think that relates to gig life, because we never know what we're going to get when we go out there.
Exactly. That's very true. Very true. Yeah, man. I enjoy your content, and I see those views every single time. Like, they're just building, and it's impressive, man. So props to you, honestly.
Thanks, man. Thanks.
So we're going to get into some other stuff now. I wanted to go over, well, first of all, so obviously my channel name is More Finance. I do enjoy the finances of everything, breaking down the finance and like doing all that stuff. And so I'm curious, are you comfortable with discussing finances, like how much you make and how much you make on YouTube?
Absolutely.
Okay, sweet.
You can ask me any question you want. Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's do it then. So first off, how much do you make from YouTube right now?
Great question. So I got monetized. I was eligible to get monetized on May 11th.
Okay.
And then I went and signed up and did the AdSense and stuff on May 12th, right?
Okay.
So it hasn't been long. I haven't made $1 yet because they pay on the 21st. You know how
I haven't made $1 yet either, because it's just like building up, and then they do the payout,
It builds up. So I can in May, which was basically half a month, and then I can see where I'm at June, first till what's today, the 14th, or what is it?
I think it's
anyways. So I can see the revenue, but I haven't even gotten my PIN in the mail yet. That I had to like reapply for that. So anyways, I can see what is in there, and I'll share what's in there. There's $1,700 in there. So I
Wow.
basically made $1,700 in 1 month.
Wow.
So for me, I feel like, and I say that because I don't know what's good or what's bad, but I feel like that's decent. And my goal, I'm pretty analytical as well, not
Uh,
as much as you, I think, at least on my channel, because I've
yeah.
seen your videos and I know how you break stuff down. I think it's very impressive.
Uh-huh.
But for me, I came from a spot where I had to manage P&Ls
Yep.
and look at EBITDA and like all that kind of stuff. So it's natural for me to look at numbers.
Yeah.
But I kind of feel like the way my channel's trending, you know, I could do $2,000 a month. That's kind of where I think eventually, if I get to October, that's probably what I'll be making from YouTube, and
Oh,
that's okay. That's okay with me.
no, you'll be
Um,
way more than that. I could guarantee
well,
it.
maybe, but for me, I say that because that's kind of where I feel like, what, if I'm making that plus the other stuff I
Oh
do,
yeah. You're
it's
you're
great. You know
yeah,
what I'm
you're
saying? Like
doing
it's
good.
good. So yeah, yeah.
Wow, that is
So
impressive.
that's what I
That
got
is
so far.
impressive. Because I thought I was doing pretty good, but you've already made more than me. So that's good.
But I think the difference though is I do lives once or twice a week
Oh,
for the
that could
last
be it.
month, and when you do a live, you get super chat capability
Uh,
and things like that. And I do lives. I think every time I do a live, I add more subs to my account. So, I kind of have a plan as to get to
uh,
where I want to be, at least with the channel, and the lives kind of help. And if people really like that and they're super interactive.
yep.
And when I do my videos, lately the last few weeks I've marked them as premieres, and when they show up, you can turn the live chat on, and people, I'm in there communicating with them. So I
Oh, that's
think
cool.
the channel kind of grows from that, because when people go to watch YouTube, right, and they want to pay attention to you or whatever, and they want to comment or they want to go in the live and put something in there,
Yeah.
if you as a content creator respond back and give them that attention, and it's genuine, people
Mhm.
like that, because we all
Yeah.
want that, right?
Oh yeah, for
If you
sure.
go and if you text somebody and they don't text you back, you kind of feel a certain way. But
Yeah,
if they text
exactly.
you back right away, then you know that it's like a give and take, right?
Yep.
So I do the lives, and I think that helps. I out of that 1,700, probably $400 of that is from the lives, as far
Oh
as the super
wow.
chats and things like that. So I
That's
think
cool,
that's
man.
why that number's kind of a decent size. So
Yeah. Okay, wow. That's cool. I didn't know that the lives actually made that much. So that's interesting. I might need to start
they
doing them.
they they can
Yeah,
they can yeah, yeah.
that's cool. So other than that, how long are you dashing every day? Like how much do you actually make from DoorDash, and do you do any other apps along with it? I think you do Uber Eats too, right?
Yeah, so I just started multi-apping within the same day, just in the last 3 weeks.
Okay.
But I do the Uber Eats, but I do Uber Rideshare lately too. So I
Okay.
pick up people because that's what I started doing last year, and
Yeah.
I'm really comfortable with that. And then I do the DoorDash. Most of what I've made this year, 80% is from DoorDash and 20% is from Uber.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, most of the time I can make $200 a day. Excuse me, that's my goal. The
Okay.
last week or two, I haven't hit that every day because other stuff's been going on.
Uh,
But $200 is what I can make. Usually 200. If I'm in the car at 10:45 and I go till 3, that's $100.
yeah.
And then if I start again up at 4:30 and go till 7:30 or sometimes 8, that's $100. So
Okay.
for me in my market, I know I can do 200 by working 8 to 9 hours. There are
Yeah.
other days I might work 10 hours. Sometimes it takes 10 hours. It just depends on the
Yeah,
day.
for sure.
But
You never
there are
know.
weeks I dash 7 days a week. There's some weeks I only do 5. It just depends because there's a lot of other things going on. But
Yeah.
$200 a day in my market is achievable if you know what you're doing and you put in the effort and work
Yeah.
2 shifts. So
Yeah, exactly. Okay, that's cool. Have you ever gone like a super long day? Like what's the most money you've ever made in a day from either Uber Rideshare or DoorDash?
So my biggest day from Uber Rideshare was like $500.
Wow.
That was last year. It was right around, I think it was Mardi Gras.
Okay.
So that was right before the pandemic, and like people were still like kind of doing stuff, and I just killed it. I think I worked 12 hours a day, and it
Oh,
was
wow.
like
Yeah, that's crazy.
490 bucks or something. And
Uh,
plus, like I got some cash tips, so it was over
yeah.
500. Um, And then the biggest money I've made on DoorDash is a little over 300, and I think that was a 12-hour day as well.
Okay.
So
Cool.
those are my bigger days. At some point, I'll want to do like a 24-hour challenge.
Yeah.
People have been talking about that.
Yeah.
It won't be able to do a full 24 because not every place is open at 3 or 4 a.m.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'll probably be able to do 20 hours or so of actual like content.
Yeah.
And that day I should make $500, I think.
Yeah.
So we'll see how it goes, but
that'll be good. Yeah. I've been wanting to do like a 24-hour challenge as well, but like in my market, I can't dash like all day. There's just dead zones when it's like 2 or 3 o'clock and it's just like gray and I can't go. And obviously I'm not going to be a top dasher because I just make like, I'm not doing that.
No, don't do that.
So I'm like, maybe I could somehow manage it to where I could do Uber in between and DoorDash and somehow like make it 24 hours. Like, I don't know. I've been trying to think of something like that, but yeah, I've been wanting to do that as well. All right. So
in my market between like 2 and 4, where other markets are slow, I can actually do pretty good sometimes. And if I put in the Uber rideshare, I could definitely make it a full 24 hours. So if I started at like 4 a.m., I know I'll be picking people up, going to the airport and going to work. And then I could go all the way up until 4 a.m. the next day, taking people to the airport and to work.
For sure.
So I could definitely probably do it. I just don't know if I want to do a full 24, like a full, because I've never seen anybody do like a full 24 where they are actually working, like doing something every hour.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? But I think it would be fun.
It would.
We'll see. I don't know.
Yeah, that would be good. So next topic. This might get a little dicey in the comments.
Okay.
Who knows? But
that's fine.
I can handle it. Recently, I've been getting some heat, but it's all good. So just give me your honest opinion on DoorDash as a company. I know you kind of talk about it a little bit in your videos, but just like give me the rundown on your opinion of the company.
Sure. Yeah. DoorDash. Okay. So for me, my DoorDash mentality has shifted quite a bit since January, since I've been doing it full time. Last year, I was of the mind like, this is great, like extra money. It's like cool. You do it when you want. And I still think that. But as I've been doing it more, and as I've had this channel, as I've learned other people's experiences, because I know it's just not about my own. I've kind of feeling like DoorDash is super corrupt, very crooked, very opportunistic, and they use their abuse of power and their share of the market in a very ingenuine way. And, that's kind of how I feel about the company. And it's kind of like weird because, I make money with them. Right.
Exactly.
But I kind of look at it like, Pedro Doordash Santiago, that's in my name. I have shirts with that. I rep DoorDash, right? I have a bag. I carry it inside with me every time. So, I don't mind that. But for me, the issue is like, they're just it's like Walmart, you know what I mean? Like, and it's like, and I don't even shop at Walmart. I've shopped at Walmart, but I don't shop at Walmart because they're just so big and there's just so many things they could do better that they literally don't do it out of greed. And I think they're greedy and that's what I think about them. And I think that the transparency, I saw your video today about the reaction. I thought you did a really good job because you actually brought up points other people hadn't brought up. You talked about, well, wow, that's really weird. He's saying he wants customers to get food quick, but then they're hiding the tips. And that's the exact opposite. Like I watched your video. And I thought, that doesn't make any sense. Right.
Exactly. And, that's what I was thinking right when I saw that. I was like, what?
Yeah. It's crazy. And I think that, it's just such a big, they're going to go to Japan. They're going to wind up in Germany probably this year. And they're going to wind up in other parts of Europe. They're going to wind up in Asia. They want to be in that area because there's a lot of money there, right?
Super populated,
The way that they would get food delivered would be very different than in the States, but they'll do it, right? And it's just such a slimy kind of like, I I don't know,
Yeah.
man. And I'm somebody that's coming from casinos. I worked at the biggest casino in North America. Okay.
Oh, wow.
I didn't work in the spot that was the biggest, but the company I worked for was the
Yes.
biggest in North
Okay.
America. And, I got to a point of like where I was basically reporting to the main guy that ran the casino. He was my boss. So I got up pretty high, and you get to see, when you get to certain levels, you get to have a better understanding as far as decisions and why they're made and how they affect the little guy. And us as gig workers, we're all the little guy.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
And it's DoorDash is just a big company, and they're super greedy, man. That's all I think about them. So
I totally agree. It's just like disappointing at this point that like they don't do certain things. And it's just like the way they use these new drivers to kind of get what they want, because they know people are always going to sign up, and they know there's going to be all these new drivers out there. And the way they just take advantage of them is like, it's disappointing. That's really the word I'm going to use, because like I remember when I was brand new dashing and I was making like $14 to $18 an hour, and I thought it was like so good. But like you don't know when you're starting out. You don't know all just the crap that goes on, and it's just like they don't. So I don't know. Have you done Amazon Flex at all?
I have not. I know it's out there, but I've never done anything besides DoorDash, Uber. I did Postmates for like a month, and that's it.
Okay, so I haven't actually done like any Amazon Flex deliveries or anything, but I am signed on with them and everything. And they take you through like a couple hours worth of like training, and actually like tell you everything that goes on and shows you like where to go, what to do, and like all this stuff. And I thought that was pretty cool. Like if like DoorDash did something like that, where they would just like train their drivers, but they don't want to do that. They want to just leave them in the dark. And like, so I thought that was cool that Amazon did that, because Amazon's huge. Like they are massive. They still did that for their delivery drivers. And so I thought that was something that like DoorDash could try and implement, but there's no way they ever would. I don't think.
No, that's not their business model. Their business model. Okay. And I don't know, we don't know this to be factual, but we drive and we see things and hear things. Their business model is the exact opposite of that. So you talk about Amazon, they want to give drivers knowledge, training, set them up for success. Like a lot of businesses, when you get hired, you work at the places, you show people videos, or you train them, or on job, you give them a pay, but DoorDash, when I signed up, so I did Uber first. That took like a week or two to get like signed up and get stuff. DoorDash, when I signed up for DoorDash, I think I was dashing, Blake, within 4 days of when I signed up. I literally got like the okay, like, you give them information. And then like I was able to dash before the bag even came in, bro.
Oh yeah.
So they don't want us to be knowledgeable independent contractors or whatever, right? Their model, I think, of business is the less we know, the better, because the less we know, the more apt we're going to just take deliveries, and they just want people to get their food, right?
Exactly.
And the only training us as dashers really have is on-job training, right? Which is okay. And then YouTube and other people giving information, but not getting paid for it. So their labor cost is extremely low.
Oh, it's almost nothing.
It's the base pay is part of their labor cost, but that's nothing, right?
Well,
the bag they give us is nothing. So
it's the base pay just pretty much isn't that what the customer pays for the service fee?
Well, most of the time, because some places will charge fees or not, or sometimes there's free delivery. But that's going to be the service fee, or it's going to be
exactly.
So their business model is it's smart if you're a business person.
Yeah.
But if you're somebody that has, like, if you want to be sustainable and you have any kind of like moral business ethics, it's definitely a great F, I think. But,
I agree.
That's why they haven't made money.
Oh no, it's true. Yeah.
So and how they haven't, I don't know. I think a lot of that is because the executives probably make way more than they should.
Well, I heard Tony Zhu is now the highest paid CEO in the Bay Area.
That's crazy. And he's in Silicon Valley, right?
Exactly.
So you think of the other big companies there, and he's the number. I mean, it's It's insanity.
Exactly.
And DoorDash is kind of a newer company too.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and I think they've also spent like an obscene amount of money on the marketing that they do because they're trying to gain all the market
Yeah.
that they
Yeah.
possibly can while they're
Yeah.
growing. And so I
Yeah.
think they're just pumping out as much marketing as possible. But like I honestly know people, even myself now, who used to use DoorDash, who now use Uber Eats when they order food because
Mhm.
it's just such a more like almost premium service. It seems like DoorDash is just the bottom of the barrel, like the customer service, or not the customer service, but like when you're ordering, the dasher service is terrible. Like,
Yeah.
and like Uber Eats is just so much more well put together. And like I've started using them now. I used to only use DoorDash, but then they obviously kicked me off even the customer side of things. And so I was using
Mhm.
Uber Eats. I'm like, this is so much better. Like just the whole experience is way better. The
Uber
food gets there faster.
Uber Eats is Target. DoorDash is Walmart.
Yeah. Oh,
And
that
that's
is a
not
perfect.
that's not to slight Walmart or who shops there, but
No.
Walmart is cheaper. You
Yep.
can get more. Sometimes it's more convenient, right? And there's
Yep.
more locations. Target, cleaner, a little nicer,
Yep.
less places, less things, but like the overall feel when you walk into Target is completely different,
Oh yeah.
right? So I feel like their business model is like, we want quantity, not quality,
Yep.
right? And they're
Very
just
true.
going for all the market share, and they want you to have. They put every single thing you want. You can get a GameStop video game and,
Oh, I know.
and a lobster delivered. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like at the
exactly.
same time, like
Yeah,
that's insanity, right? But that's
exactly.
what they're shooting for. So
Yeah. It's just it's crazy how big they're going. So now I wanted to get into like, so obviously you saw the interview with the DoorDash president. So what are your feelings on the hidden tips? I know you talk about it in your videos,
yeah,
but I want to give your opinion to my subscribers and just
yeah,
let them know.
yeah. I go back and forth. I think, to be honest, the hidden tips don't bother me. I think as much as maybe other people or maybe even yourself, right? I don't get that bothered by it. I don't understand it, but I don't. I understand why they do it. I think they do it because they don't want. If they're a business based on quantity, so if they show us full tips, we're just going to wait on the big ones, and then the small ones never get delivered. So they want us to take a chance on a $6 order
Yeah,
because that's just what they want, right?
exactly.
But it doesn't bother me as much because usually I could find and figure out exactly about within a
Yeah.
dollar or two what the payout's going to be, right?
Yep.
The issue for me is the ones that are new don't have that knowledge yet, right?
Exactly.
But I think I think about it a lot because these are business guys, right? Like, we're gig drivers, we're smart people, right?
Yep.
But these guys are like, they're running billion-dollar corporations, so there has to be an underlying reason why they hide them. Because Uber does it too, kind of sometimes. I think.
Yeah,
I've seen ones that say, and I know the customer can add tip or take away, but I feel like they do it a little bit. I don't know about Grubhub because I don't have Grubhub, but I think it's not just DoorDash that does it. I think we see it and talk about it because that's the number one gig app, right?
Exactly.
So I go back and forth. I don't, I would love to interview that guy myself and push him a little more on the hidden tips, because when the rideshare guy talked about it, they both laughed. The rideshare guy
kind
was
of agreed
laughing
with it,
and the other guy was laughing. So it's kind of like, it's just, now it's laughable. So it kind of takes the greed out of it. But like, the hidden tips doesn't bother me as much because I can still find them.
Yeah. Because once you get to a certain point, like, and you've done enough orders, you can almost like sense when it's going to be a hidden tip. You can look at the items, the restaurants, like, and you can just kind of, when it's going to be a hidden tip. But like, exactly what you said, like these new drivers who have no idea. And then it honestly makes it kind of confusing when you're brand new. I feel like it's like, okay, wait, so do I get what it shows me, or do I get the pay after? Like, how does it work? Do they tip me after? It's confusing. And like,
yes.
And going back to what he said, how he wants the customers to get their food the quickest, like those customers that are tipping a lot they're getting the short end of the stick when it comes to this. And then the people who tip less, who really like, I don't even want to get into people who don't tip, because like I have my own opinions on that, but like they should be honestly like penalized, and they should have to wait longer, in my opinion, than the people who are tipping $7, $8, $9, $10. They should get their order accepted immediately and delivered immediately. It shouldn't be added on with a stack order of an order that is $3, and then they're tipping $10. This person didn't tip at all. They both get it at, sometimes the person who didn't tip gets it first, if that's how it goes the way you're driving, And so it just seems completely unfair, and just like DoorDash is saying they care about the customer, but it's really all in their own interest.
They just want to get as many orders out as possible, and they want, they want as many people to order, and it's, I think, and I did a video on it about several weeks ago, and I got this idea from another guy that does YouTube content. I forget his name. He's doesn't do a lot of videos. He's got, not a lot of subs. He's not really popular yet, but I gave him a credit when I talked about it, but he made a really good point, and I still feel like this, and I think it will shift at some point. It could take several years, who knows, decades, but the tip culture is very Americanized. Okay. Mm-hmm. Tipping in America, a lot of other parts of the world do not tip. Okay. Yeah. So tipping culture in America really benefited this. And we're restaurant guys. I worked for tips. I managed thousands of people that worked for tips. It was a way of these big corporations to shift their labor cost from them to the consumer. Okay.
Exactly. Yep.
And a lot of, it's not just food. You might tip other service industries, like the guy pumping your gas back in 1950, right?
Yeah.
You tip him a couple dollars, or
masseuse,
you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like right. So it's not just food, right? But with food specifically, it was, we're going to pay a server $2 an hour, and 90% of what they make is going to come from the customer, right? Yeah. So for me, with the food delivery, I almost feel like we should use words, and DoorDash and Grubhub and Uber Eats should use words like bid. So when I put an order in for a pizza, instead of the word tip being there, it should be bid. The suggested bid for you to get your pizza in 20 minutes or less is this amount in your area. Mm-hmm. So if you bid $5, the likelihood of you getting it hot and fresh is way higher than if you don't put a bid in for somebody, an independent contractor, to come bring you your food, right? Yeah. And I think if people saw it like, okay, it's a bid, okay, that kind of makes sense. It's like an auction. Like if I want that painting on the wall, I need to make my bid higher. If I want to get my pizza quick because I'm hungry, I need to make my bid higher. Exactly. And if I don't put a bid in, I might not get my food. Like if these companies could actually be super transparent in that way, I think it helps us, it helps the consumer. But because some people are put off by the word tip. I think they're like, okay,
it's true.
Why do I tip? I don't even know this person picking up my food. Are they going to be fast? Is their car clean?
Is it going
to be nice? Yep. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. So, is it going to get here and it's going to be like, is it going to be cold? Is it going to be all messed up?
Right. Right.
You don't know.
Right. So it's the tip word, I think, is shifting in a lot of ways, especially with what we do. I think people now have been so accustomed to tipping when you sit down at a restaurant, but like the food delivery, it's different. And I think, you have packages from Amazon that get delivered. You don't tip the Amazon guy, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So some people that get pizza are like, I'm not tip, or get McDonald's, I'm not going to tip that. I got Amazon today. I didn't tip that guy. Yeah. And he delivered a flat screen TV that was for $1,000, but you want me to tip the guy bringing me my $10 McDonald's. So I think some people just don't understand that we don't work for McDonald's, we don't work for DoorDash. That's why they think they shouldn't tip us, but
yeah,
I don't know.
I like that whole bid thing. That's an interesting thing I haven't heard before, but that would definitely bring a whole different transparency to the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I definitely agree with it. That would be pretty cool if they did that, honestly. But I don't think they ever would, to be honest.
I think we're a long time away from that. I think
Yeah.
that there are smaller companies that might do things like that, but you know, the good thing, I will say this, the one good thing is, like, for the most part, 99% of the time, we could decide if we're going to deliver to somebody that tips or not. So we have a lot of freedom in that way, which is nice. You know what I'm saying? But
it is very nice that we do get to decide that, for sure. That because that's what I hate when, like, if they were forcing us to accept certain orders, like, that's where I would draw the line. But
I
like,
wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it.
Exactly. Yeah, I wouldn't either. But that's why I hate when they, like, do the stacks and they put those in, and you can still like unassign them, but it's just like they're just trying to be sneaky with it, and it just, like, it bugs me. But I guess they got to do what they got to do, because, well, and like what I think happens is that customers get so they tip, like, it's their first time ordering on DoorDash, they tip, and then they get their food, either takes a little while or they get their food and it's cold or something, and then they're like, okay, well, I'm never going to tip again. And then it just builds up and builds up, and then all these people aren't tipping, and then they don't tip, and then it takes even longer because people aren't accepting the order. So then the second time they order, it takes another 15 extra minutes, and then they're like, okay, well, I'm definitely not tipping again. And then it's kind of like a snowball effect. I feel like that is what could be happening, because there's a lot more $3 orders out there now.
Or it could also be, I think the opposite side of that is, I'm not going to tip, and I think most people that don't tip just don't tip, or they're not knowledgeable, and they feel like, oh, I just paid a $4 delivery fee, I paid a service fee. In my St. Louis market, there's a fee for DoorDash that says St. Louis fee, and it's $1. So as a customer, and some markets have it because some states put in laws that they had to cap this, or so this is just in the last, like, 7 months that St. Louis has done it. So literally, if I order from 7-Eleven, and let's say it's only $10 or $15, right? 7-Eleven charges you $3.99 for delivery, $1 St. Louis fee, a convenience fee, and a small basket fee. So before you tip, you're charged up to $10.
Wow.
Okay. And then they want to tip, right? So it's like 5 fees for, let's say, one item, like a pack of cigarettes or
a
like 12-pack of beer, right?
Yeah.
So, like, the fees are like crazy, and I think some customers aren't knowledgeable, and they think that fee, like, we're DoorDash employees, so certainly DoorDash is probably paying them $10 an hour. They don't understand we're independent contractors, right? So for me, the transparency, like, if it said that in the app, or if it, talked about that more, then I think more people would be understanding, and maybe they might tip. But my issue is, there are a lot of people that don't tip, but Blake, they get their food quick sometimes. So they're like, oh, I didn't tip, and it's fine, and I got my food, right?
Exactly.
And so what's the incentive for them to tip? There's no consequence. And the people that are nice, that are going to tip because they understand, like, it's a luxury service. I think it is a luxury service.
Yes.
They're going to tip regardless. But the ones that don't tip and they still get their food, they're never going to tip. Not ever.
Yep. Exactly.
Because they're getting their food, they're never going to tip. There's no incentive for them to.
Definitely. That's the flip side for sure. And I have my own opinions on it, like whether or not, I don't think they ever could make it mandatory to tip, but in some cases, I feel like either, like, maybe don't call it a tip, just call it another fee, and then we get that fee or something like that. Like, I don't know. I think there's other ways you could maybe figure it out, but I don't think DoorDash cares enough. So,
I literally think it might be as simple as putting, so based on subtotal or distance or whatever, right? It could be different things. This is the bid you have to put in to get your food.
Exactly.
So if it's a $10 order, $10 worth of food, maybe the bid's, and it's only going 3 miles, maybe the bid's $2, the lowest one. Suggested bid's 2. If you tip 3, 4, or 5, maybe it goes up from there. But if it's like a not suggested, but like, this is the bid amount to put in for your food.
Yeah.
And if you can't place the bid, you can't get the food.
See, and I feel like they could also,
they're not going to do that because, not many people are going to, like, not many people will order, but at the end of the day, like, if they don't have drivers, they don't have a business either. So there has to be some kind of give and take with that.
Yep,
So.
for sure. Well, and like with Uber Eats, I don't know if you've ordered from Uber Eats before, but they have a thing where when you're checking out, they have the priority and you can pay like $1.50 like added on fee to where it drops the estimated delivery time from like 30 minutes to 20 minutes. And I don't know exactly, I don't know if it's that priority $1.50 is going added onto the driver order, so then it's accepted faster, or how it works. But every time I order priority on Uber Eats, it gets there quick. Like it is assigned to a driver immediately. The food's ready when they get there and it's picked up. So I don't know if it's like in the restaurants too, it shows something where it's like a priority order.
Yeah.
I feel like that could maybe like they're onto something with that, where like you could pay even more for like the rest. Cause in like at the end of the day, it's up to the restaurant how quickly they can actually make the order. Like no matter how fast we get there and what, like we do everything right, you could get there and the restaurant could take 20 minutes to make your food. So like if somehow they could make it to where if you're paying a little extra, then it shows up in the restaurant as like a priority order and they have to make it right then. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it, you know? So like, I think Uber Eats is onto something when it comes to that. So I thought that was a pretty cool feature as well. And like, I don't know, that's just something I noticed that I thought was cool.
I think I've ordered from Uber Eats maybe once or twice. I've ordered from DoorDash probably maybe only 3 or 4 times. Now usually I cook or just get it myself, but I can't remember. I haven't done it enough to know like the differences, you know what I mean?
Okay.
But I think Uber definitely is a lot more transparent. Like when I do an Uber, even if it's rideshare or delivery, you can see order details and it tells you like what Uber got from the customer.
Yeah.
A surge.
Yes,
and
that's
it's
true.
so transparent. And I love
well, and I love how it, I love how
DoorDash just is not there yet.
I love how Uber has like a picture of the person too. And it has like, you can like click on their profile. It says why they're doing it. Like on mine, I put like, I'm saving up for a house for me and my wife. Like, and then it kind of makes it more personable. So then you are willing to tip. Cause it's like, it's not just some random no face that like, it actually puts a name to the face, you know, a little bit about them and like you can kind of gauge that. And so I think that's another added feature. Like we were saying, Uber is just like that target where it's just, it feels different. It feels better than the big corporation.
I really feel like it is, you know what I mean? And Target's a big company and so is Uber, but it's not as big as Walmart. They're not as big as DoorDash. You know? And when you grow so big, what you lose sometimes is the actual like care value for customers and employees because you're just too big, you know what I'm saying?
Well, and it's all just like numbers on a screen. You see customers and dashers, how fast they're accepting. It's all just numbers at this point with DoorDash. So
absolutely.
Sure.
Yep. Absolutely.
Well, anyway, we will wrap up here. We've gone quite a while, actually.
Cool. Yeah, we talked about some good stuff.
Yeah, exactly. I like hearing your ideas on everything. It's fun to bounce things off of you. So, I guess we'll just end with the last little section we'll go into is what's the number one thing you enjoy about being a DoorDash driver, and what's the number one thing you hate?
Yeah, good question. So for me, it's probably really cliche, but I love the freedom, you know, and we should all have that in anything we do. But when you're tied to a 9 to 5, like I was for so many years, and tied to a schedule, you're tied to a budget or a meeting, or you're tied to like a salary and trying to just make, you know, the freedom this allows me is I love it, man. The fact today, like I woke up and I had to take the car to the shop for a little bit. I needed to get some back brake work done. I did that. And then I didn't have to like call in to work.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like and if I don't want to work tomorrow, you know, I don't have to, I will. Exactly. But like if my nephew has a softball game or a baseball game, I could go to it. If my dad calls me and says, hey, we're having everybody by Sunday at 6, my answer now is always going to be yes.
Yeah.
Whereas before it was like, I'll be there. Exactly. Before it was like, I don't know, I got to work, or I got a meeting. Or,
let me see if I can get that day off.
let me see if I can leave work early.
Yeah.
I don't ever have to do that right now, right?
Yeah.
And to me, that is like, it really puts my life into perspective. And that's a big reason why I'm doing this kind of stuff now, because I'm trying to prioritize like what's important and what isn't. And doing gig work and being an independent contractor, if you do it smart and you know what you need to make and you're smart about it, you can really have a lot more freedom and do more things that are actually important. So for me, that's like the number one reason that I love it.
Yep.
What I don't love about it, I don't know. I feel like I think what scares me and what I don't like about it the most is just working for, like saying I'm working for DoorDash, because it has such a bad connotation. You know, it has a bad name.
No,
so while I
true.
say I can feel proud to say, well, I'm betting on myself and I'm doing it because I'm having a small business and like I'm doing it for market research and I got the YouTube thing. That's cool, right? But like when I tell certain people it's like DoorDash is just like, oh, they're really scummy. You know what I'm saying? So and I play a part in that. So my morality is kind of like, you know what? Yeah, I am kind of feeding into the big machine. So that's the one thing that I don't love about it. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I think DoorDash Dad says it really kind of best. It's kind of like you're like the hitman for the ball, like a hitman for like the mafia or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, and like the mafia is not great, but at the end of the day, like it's paying the bills.
Exactly.
And you're learning things or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of like how I feel. I don't love that I'm like, repping DoorDash all the time.
Yeah, so. I feel that. Well, and so just a quick little thing I hate about it is that they can just like deactivate you at any moment. And then like,
well, you know about that. Yeah.
Well, yeah, exactly. Like, and then you're just like, your whole almost like plan for what you had is just done. Cause like, obviously I was doing that challenge. I was like gearing up. It was like the last half. I'm like, okay, I'm getting ready. Like making all this money. I was used to making like $400 a day. So I'm spending a little more money, here and there on stuff. And then it's like, all of a sudden you're just done. And like, I had Uber Eats, but what if I didn't have Uber Eats? What if DoorDash was my only income, or like, and I have my YouTube income and my wife works too, and like all that stuff. But what if I was just like solely relied on DoorDash and then they just cut you off and it takes you a couple weeks to get on with another platform or something like that. And then like, you end up losing your apartment or something like that. Like you can't pay your rent. Like, I just don't like how they have so much control over, like, they can just cut you off, even if it's a misunderstanding or if it's like a lie on the customer's part, just stuff like that. Like the fact that they have control, there's no like, okay, you got flagged for this. We're going to look into your account. We're going to ask you stuff and then we'll deactivate you. It's like, you just get the email and you're done.
There's no HR department. You can't go to HR and be like, hey, hold on, I want to talk about this. There's none of that. It's just like, boom, you're done. That's it. It's like you're almost like you're guilty before you're like proven innocent. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like it's really, really bad. But,
and so that's why I hate, because and like obviously I make way more with DoorDash than anything else. And so then I'm trying to plan out, okay, I'm only going to make $800 a week now instead of $1,500 or whatever, and then it throws everything off. And like, even with my YouTube channel, cause like, I like putting out the DoorDash content because it get like it has the most dashers, like there's the most people on the platform. So it obviously is going to get the most views and stuff like that. And so it like totally switches that too. And it's just like it's a snowball effect. And I just don't like that DoorDash has control over that. So, but it is what it is. You trade that for the freedom of working when you want. So I guess,
it's better. It's not like a slight to people that work 9 to 5s. Like we've done them, we've been GMs, but like at the end of the day, it's almost like the trade-off, like you got to take, what's great about the freedom is it can be taken away at a certain level, right? As far as like the monetary part of it. But I mean, there is so many other independent contractors. Like I hate to use the word, I don't like to use the word never, but I feel very confident that I'll never like work for somebody again. You know what I mean? And I really like that. At this point in my life, like, I'll be 40 this year. Like it feels good to feel like that and know that I can do something for myself always.
Exactly.
And you're 21. So like, that's got to be even greater because like, you've got way more years ahead of you of
Yeah.
making money where you can feel like, you know what, I can be my own boss. I can make it on my terms.
Yep.
I don't have to worry about somebody saying, oh, you know what, we're going to pay you $80,000 a year to work 60 hours a week, and that's what you're worth. No,
Yeah.
Blake gets to set what he's worth.
Yeah. I'm
And I
worth
think
whatever I
that's-
want to make.
You're worth whatever you want to make, whatever you want to put into it, whatever
Yeah.
bills and goals you have. And for me, that's what gig life is about. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So
Yeah, for sure. I feel like, so just like, I know I rip on DoorDash a lot, but I just want to say, like, I actually do love the platform. Like, I love the opportunities it gives all us gig workers. And so
yeah.
I think I'm going to try and put out a little bit more positive stuff, like actually show the love to DoorDash, because they do provide us with a great opportunity. Cause like, otherwise I
Very
wouldn't be able
true.
to do what
Yeah.
I'm doing. And so like,
Yeah.
honestly, talking to you just like through this podcast is honestly like you're just a positive guy. And it's really made me like thankful that I have what I have at such a young age. Like you're 39 now, and just like, I don't know, seeing everything in perspective, and just, so I appreciate you bringing that, like opening up my mind to that.
No, hey, but I want to, don't be too positive now, because that's my thing. You know what I'm saying? You still got to, keep it real.
I'll keep it real. Trust me. I'll probably end up getting deactivated again in the next month or something. And then I'll go off.
Well, yeah. But I'm only so positive, man, to be honest, bro. Like, I got some years on you, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like, I've made a lot of mistakes, and I've learned from them, and I've realized, like, you know what, like, yeah, DoorDash does crazy things, and like, this world's crazy, and there's always something to complain about. But at the end of the day, like, life's too short.
Exactly.
Like legit, man, we are delivering food. You know what I'm saying? So like, at the end of the day, like, I can't get that mad that somebody didn't tip me.
Exactly.
Can't get that mad that I waited 20 minutes. I just I gotta understand, I'm still gonna come home to my girlfriend and my dogs, and I'm still gonna have a good day. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So
yes. There you go.
that's kind of how I try to look at it. It's not always easy, but like, I mean, come on, like, we're delivering like food.
We get to sit in our cars, chill, not have a boss.
Listen to music, listen to this. I can watch YouTube. I can see what new video Blake's got coming out. I can check this out. I don't have to like go to work and put a uniform on.
Exactly.
And worry about if my boss is going to like me that day. Am I going to get fired? Am I going to get a raise? I don't have to worry about that. I can make my own money. Exactly. And like, it doesn't get a lot better than that for me.
Exactly. So. It all, honestly, it doesn't seem like I've gone to work since I quit my job. Like, that's what it seems like. It seems like I'm just going and like, I'm making money, and I get it. Because I listen to like Sports Center, and then I listen to podcasts, and I listen to audiobooks and music, and it's just like you're doing stuff you normally would, but you're just in your car, and so like it is pretty great. It is pretty great. And so I say we end on that positive note. I appreciate you coming on, man, and make sure you
Thanks
guys
for having me, man.
You can check us out at on Spotify or Apple Music, and also YouTube, of course. And thanks. We'll be here next week. I think this episode's going to be coming out on like a Wednesday or something. I don't know. It's probably not going to be on Sunday, but episodes every single Sunday, the Doordash Podcast. Thanks for coming on, man.
See you guys.